Everything we draw in processing is drawn somewhere on the screen, and we have to tell processing where to draw it. We do that by telling processing at what point to draw the graphics. Let's see how that's done. Here's a typical processing sketch window. When we run processing, it creates a window like this. How do we identify the location of a point somewhere in this window? Let's begin by marking the upper left corner of the window. Now this is the upper left corner of the graphics area of the window. Notice that there's a little title bar at the top that has the name of the sketch and some buttons. We're not going to worry about that. The operating system is putting that there for us. We can't draw there. We can only draw in the area under it. So we put a dot at the upper left corner. We call that the origin. That's the point from which we measure everything. Now, to identify a point somewhere in this window, we need to tell processing how far to the right we want to move to locate a point and how far down we want to go to locate a point. These two numbers, right and down, are the way we identify points. Now, you might remember a coordinate system from high school geometry where the x-axis goes to the right and the y-axis goes up. In processing, the x-axis goes to the right and the y-axis goes down. Now, it's a little bit different, but that's because of the way we draw things. You know that when you want to make a window bigger, typically you grab it by the bottom right and make it larger or smaller by dragging from that corner. So it just seems to make more sense to measure from the upper left. So that's how we do it. To locate a point, you say how far to the right it is of the upper left corner, followed by how far down it is from the upper left corner. So let's get rid of the sketch since it was just there to help us orient ourselves. This is called a coordinate system. This lets us identify points. So I'm going to put a white background back there, and now I'm going to put in some ruler lines. And let's say that these are spaced every 50 pixels, just pixels on the screen, dots on your screen. If I want to put down a point, all I have to do is measure how far to the right it is, how far down it is from that upper left corner, and I've got a point. So here's a point at 150, 50. And typically we put it inside of a pair of parentheses when we write it down this way. And that lets us know that these numbers are meant to represent a point, and we put a comma between them. Here's another point. Now I kind of eyeballed it. I think it's about 30 units to the right of the left edge of the window, and it's 2 entire boxes down, so that's 30, 100. Here's another point. It's 2 full boxes to the right, 3 full boxes down. That gives us the point 100, 150. These numbers are called coordinates, and it's just a big word that means the numbers that we use to locate a point, always in the order right, down. Let's take a look at this in action. So here's a little processing sketch to demonstrate the idea. The gray circle in the upper left is the origin. That's the point 0, 0. The brown axis going to the right is our x-axis, and the greenish axis going down is our y. And at the top, I've identified the coordinates of the point represented by that big yellow circle. And right now, its x value is 240 and its y value is 240. Suppose I grab this big yellow circle and drag it to the right, moving it up and down a little bit. But if you look at the x value, the brown number, you can see it's going up as I drag it to the right. And if I start dragging to the left, the x value goes down. And it'll go all the way down to 0 if I get all the way to the left. Let's do that in a moment, but for now let's look at y. You can see y is about 270, that's the green number. And as I move it up, that number goes down, 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 down. And as I move the circle down, that number goes up, up, up. So as I move down and to the right, both numbers go up. And as I move up and to the left, both of them go down. Until if I can get myself all the way down into that spot there where the origin is located, you'll see I can finally get myself down, if I go nice and slow, to 0, 0. Just barely. And there's the upper left corner of the window. Now, if I keep pushing, say, to the left, I'll have negative numbers. And if I go up, I'll have negative values. So you can have negative numbers. In this case, the dot would simply be off screen. It would be upper left of the window. It would just be off screen. In fact, everything up here with negative y values is off screen. Everything off here with negative x values is off screen. But you can certainly identify those points, and you can tell processing to draw something. You just won't see it, because the only stuff you see is the stuff that will be inside the box defined by the upper left of the window itself and the graphics window. So any point inside this graphics window is given by XY, given by right, comma down. And we're going to use points to draw just about everything.